Hello and welcome to another session of Live with Autocar, where we have an interactive discussion on all things automotive. And today's hot topic is the Honda City Hybrid, or the Honda City HEV, which really is the first strong hybrid. And clearly, this is something which has come for the first time in the market. And to talk about this and more, we have with us Kunal Behl from Honda. He's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing. We're just going to try and get him in. It is quite a technological, let's say, marvel in that sense. And clearly, I just wanted to start off with you, Kunal. Let's get into the question everyone wants to know. It is expensive. It's 5 lakhs more than the standard city. We know what technology is in that. That's really one of the big talking points from consumers. So just wanted your let's say, perspective on the price.
Okay, so thanks for raising that up. Expensive, I don't know the definition of what's expensive, but let me put it this way: what this car gets you. So basically, it's one car which has two strong powertrains. It has a powertrain of engine as well as a powertrain of electrical, which makes it special. So you're basically getting two technologies which are quite superior into one car. The total hybrid system is so well designed that it allows the engine to decide automatically which is the most optimum and most efficient way the engine should operate, whether the engine should power the wheels directly or it should power the alternator, and alternator basically charges the battery, and from that battery you charge the power, it gives the power to the wheels. So all of this is actually so nicely and beautifully done. In a way, you get a very high efficiency, which is 40 to 45% higher than the petrol engines of its class. So a hybrid offers, the new City HEV offers a mileage of 26.5. Now, not just that, I will focus more on the emission part. So Hormazd, it actually gives a ultra low emission, and I think that's what makes it so special. It's giving blue skies to our children who are going to come in future and going to witness, the environment has to be more clean. So it has the powerful mileage, it has a powerful of low emission. And not just that, also I would say it makes it special because you have a lot of safety attached to this vehicle. We have 5 powerful safety features. And when I say 5 powerful safety, it is not just for you, it is also for people who are on the road. So it's safety for everyone. We call it as Honda Sensing. And that's what, the overall package of the car makes it very superior technology. And I think cost is not the right way of judging it. But yes, you could say it because we are still not getting the advantage of GST. We are paying at a GST of 43% as compared to the normal battery vehicles, which is 5%. So even then, the vehicle is priced, price is placed very economically, and that's what we got an impression after we launched on 14th of April.
No, clearly there's a lot of technology in the car. Before I want to just touch upon the technology, and in fact, just to let you know that I think I drove it briefly. My run from home to office is not much, about 7-8 kilometers, but half of that I was doing in full EV mode. So it's really for practical purposes. I'm running it like an EV in town, and frankly you feel good about it. When the engine's not working, you feel that you're not polluting, and especially at a traffic light when everyone else is idling, spewing smoke. Here this is absolutely dead silent. So clearly benefits are definitely there. But again, just talking about with this kind of price point, you still had a pretty decent response. Has the response been better than you expected?
The response has been tremendous, from us. Basically, we weren't expecting the waiting to be that much. So we have already crossed more than 7 months of waiting right now. And I'm not able to quote the numbers, but beautifully what we observed, the demographics of customer, we have got customers from every age group. So we have young buyers, we have matured buyers, we have women buyers, and we have people, when I asked a couple of them, they are wanting to buy a diesel car, but they were not getting an option of automatic. So hybrid, which is a strong electric hybrid, offers a lot, for those set of customers even.
That's a good point, actually, because clearly diesel automatic. That's something which people want. They don't necessarily want a diesel, but they want a fuel efficient automatic, and I guess they're getting with it, because typically automatics aren't very fuel efficient. But that's just how it is. So but what is driving these customers? Is it fundamental fuel efficiency, or is it the fact that it's a low carbon footprint car, or is it a combination of both?
Very nicely put. So I would say a lot of people in India want to be a part of the electrification journey, but there is an anxiety which everybody has, that how far can I drive my electric car? When is the right time to charge the car? Like a mobile phone, do I need to charge it every day? Not just that, do I need to put an electric charge infrastructure near my home? So, they want to be a part of the electrification journey, but still they're not very comfortable. Now, those set of customers, they get a perfect worry-free solution with the Honda New City HEV, which is a strong hybrid electric vehicle. It has the technology of self-charging battery. So you don't have to worry on that front. The car automatically charges the battery. And not just that, as you rightly said, you've been doing 7 to 8 kilometers and it's 100% EV. So you don't have to, select the, lever, whether it is an EV mode, whether it's a hybrid mode, whether it is an engine mode. The car automatically does it for you. So I believe the customers who booked it, they're finding it a completely worry-free drive, and plus they're getting an exhilarating performance. They get a very nice, smooth drive, and of course they have the safety on their hand. So that's what makes it a perfect choice.
Right. So, talk about the smooth drive, Kunal, clearly, when I was driving it, it's just the way it seamlessly switches from EV mode to hybrid mode, and sometimes even in drive mode, where after a certain speed, the engine is actually driving the wheels and not just the generator. Actually, I just want to give the audience a little bit on the technology, how your hybrid works. It's quite fascinating, actually, is that the engine actually largely serves as a generator to charge the battery, which in turn kind of, let's say, gives juice to the electric motor, which drives the wheel, which is a more efficient way of doing it. And you have just one gear and a very tall gear. So in terms of efficiency, that kicks in at a higher speed. So it's all very seamlessly done, very, very complex underneath. I just want to ask you, because of the convenience of it, your customer, is he looking for convenience and also the fact that it's so easy and simple to drive, or is he a bit of a tech savvy guy also who likes the technology and wants to get into it, because it's quite complex to get your head around?
Yeah, that's right. So, as you rightly touched upon, it is quite a complex technology, but it's being put very nicely, and it's a beautiful machine to drive. So, most efficiently it drives, and you get a seamless experience. So, not just that. You touched upon, whether it is a futuristic design or people who are trying to prefer a futuristic technology. I would say yes. Like when we interviewed a lot of people who bought the car recently, they said, this is first in the segment. So none of the sedan, segment players are offering this kind of a technology, both in terms of the driving as well as the safety condition. Something more which I like to touch upon, which you just spoke about, it has a single gear. So the conventional hybrids, they had those, different gears, and it has a planetary gear is what we say in the technical language, whereas it has a single gear, so the frictional parts are quite less, so the frictional losses is too low, and that's what makes it more efficient. So you don't get everything in packed into one machine, and that's what the people are trying to prefer on.
Right. And a car like this, what we've seen is 20 kilometers plus is quite a normal kind of average to get. And I mean, do you see the fact that fewer visits to the pump is going to be one of also not just the driving factor, but the fact that the big mileage is going to be the superb mileage is going to be a real talking point among customers, because they'll all be comparing. I think now it's no longer KPH, it's KPL in this car, though the car is quite
that's right.
well. So, but
that's right.
Really, I think it's put the spotlight on fuel efficiency quite a lot.
Yeah, that's right. And as you touched upon when you were driving, so we all drive in urban cities, and most of the time we are surrounded with the traffic. So that way it really works well, where most of the time the car is actually, the default mode is EV mode. So and that's what you get, better mileage of 26.5. So that way it's definitely a good choice.
Right. And I just again talking about EV mode, which I want to talk on, it's like a default EV mode. Since one gets this, it's not like predefined. It just kind of comes in, cuts out. So I think we asked a lot of questions. how many kilometers will it do in EV mode? But I think there's no real answer for that because it's constantly finding the optimal solution. And again, when I was driving, largely in EV mode, maybe going up a slope, you could feel the engine kick in a bit, but doing it all seamlessly. So, I mean, that's a question that some of the audience want to know is how far will it go in EV mode? But I think there's no real clear-cut answer for that because it's not that it's predefined, it just does it as per the condition and then chooses the most efficient route.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, in fact, what we say it as you need to fill the tank once, and you could cover 1,000 kilometers. That's what is a simple thumb rule to remember. So, and you were rightly saying you don't have to go again to the pumps. And as if I compare to the battery electric vehicles, you don't have to charge the car again and again. So,
Right.
I wouldn't speak about what is the range of a battery electric vehicles, but as compared to that, it gives you one tank, and you could possibly cover 1,000 kilometers.
Right. And, also I just want to, take this opportunity to really, I think with the city hybrid, I think that the hybrid technology kind of comes to the fore. I mean, to be honest, all the mild hybrids were in a way a misnomer for hybrids. But this is really a proper hybrid the way we know it. I mean, you've had more expensive cars, but they're very niche. You had your own Accord, which was a solid hybrid, but again, at a very expensive price. This has, in a way, democratized strong hybrids. So, do you think, this model can be a kind of, let's say, a vanguard to, let's say, evangelize strong hybrid technology, and hopefully, maybe, even the government may listen and see the value in it as people realize the benefits.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So basically, we came up with the hybrid technology, a strong hybrid technology earlier to India with Civic and Accord. That is a time when we were actually importing the cars. Those were CBU cars. Now, for the first time in this segment, we are manufacturing the cars, following the Make in India regime was stronger. So we will manufacture in our Tapukara plant. And as you just mentioned, this is a car for everyone in the mainstream segment. Have we been importing it? It would have been very expensive. So, and yes, as I said in the earlier part, the duty which we are paying is quite high. It is 43% as compared to a pure battery electric vehicle, which is 5%. So, yes, a little bit of relaxation on that would possibly attract buyers more, and they can early adopt to this technology of strong hybrid electric cars. But definitely, strong hybrid versus a mild hybrid, there's a great difference. Honda's technology is a strong hybrid where, as you rightly said, the car operates almost in the entire span of time and an EV mode.
Right. And again, the other thing which I was using is the D mode and the brake mode. And clearly, I think this is really to, how do I say, make maximum use of the regeneration, especially when you're coming downhill, to make sure that you are in the maximum regen possible, which is in brake mode. So are these kind of features something which is appreciated by customers, and do they use it a lot, or is some, or do they just normally go in D and just enjoy the car the way it is?
No. So it's being, a lot of people are trying to ask, how to effectively charge the battery. So of course,
Right.
the point which you touched upon, D and B, the D is the drive mode and B stands for the braking mode. So
Right.
normally in a strong hybrid, the moment you lift up your, the foot from the pedal, accelerator pedal, automatically the car battery starts getting charged because of the regeneration. So now in the B and the D mode, you have three different, steps, and
Level of
where you can charge.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So it goes till 3, and you can charge the battery. Specifically on a downhill when you're going, you can use the braking mode, in which the default, whatever the last selection you do, possibly do it at a third level, the car will still remain at the third level and start charging the battery in a more efficient way.
Right. And the other point is really, the city, at least with the VTEC engine, you always had that fun to drive element. And cities
That's
are
right.
in a way known for that. I mean, the screamer of a petrol engine to very high revs. Clearly, this is a very different kind of experience. You've got that very seamless kind of torque. It really pulls, performance is there. But are people buying this car for the performance it also delivers, or is it fundamentally for the fuel efficiency, lowering the CO2, or is it fair to say that they want that Honda performance irrespective of what they are driving?
So the Honda in India is known for basically two things, past. One is the FTD, this is fun to drive element, and then you have the DQR, which is the durability, quality, and reliability. So that's the main element. The people are always preferring Honda in India. But now, with this technology which you just offered, globally we are following a vision of carbon neutrality, and we're also, by year 2050, we will go zero traffic collision fatalities. What the global Honda brand is moving for. Now, once we launched this car as the first step towards the electrification journey in India, we're also giving the Honda Sensing, which is basically supporting zero collision fatalities. So
That's what I wanted to come to
yeah,
as a because we've not touched upon that at all. The kind of
yeah.
ADAS features, the active safety, which is really, in a way, the hybrid has overshadowed that because of what it is. But that's also very, very important. So sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, the people, as a reason, as I said, so it's a bundle of high superior technology in the segment which is nowhere available, plus the safety. So, you have an accelerating performance. People normally don't believe that when you're driving a battery or a hybrid car, you get 0 to 100 in just 10 seconds. So that's what the car is doing, which is clearly a very amazing performance. So it is a performance driven car, plus you have a fuel economy, plus you have a safety to it. So there are a couple of three strong pillars, which is the reason why the customers are preferring this car right now.
Right. And, I just want to talk on the Honda sensing features, what you call. You've got a collision mitigation brake system, auto brake, so to say, lane keep assist system, route departure mitigation, adaptive cruise control, automatic high beam. I mean, this whole suite of features, which really, to be honest, is what we need today in the age of driver distraction, because I think it's more important to stop the accident than wait for the crash and then see what happens. Because the
Yeah, definitely. So, we tested the Honda Sensing with the launch of City HEV. So, we're looking for the response, and I'm sure with the new product launches, we're going to introduce that. And you rightly said CMBS, I like to talk about that, which is a collision mitigation braking system. It's quite needed in the Indian conditions. So, there are situations where you're driving the car on a highway or even in city driving, and India, you suddenly have people coming in between. So, the CMBS not just gives you a visual and static alarm, but also it assists you, in case of severity where it breaks the car and it prevents any kind of a accident, which is quite a big feature, specifically in Indian driving conditions. So that's what the CMBS is quite liked upon. Of course, you have other features which I'm sure you will talk about.
Right, and obviously you've got. I think so. It's an entire suite of features which are there, and as you rightly said, you are looking at in future models. But to be honest, these are expensive. So is it fair to assume that it won't be in, let's say, the more affordable range, and it'll generally be in city and city plus vehicles, and maybe your future vehicles coming out, which is how it's going to be.
So, as I said, globally, Honda is moving towards the zero traffic collision fatalities. We do understand the importance of safety and safety for everyone, for that matter. So, Honda Sensing is definitely going to be an integral part of our lineup. Of course, currently we have brought in to Honda City HEV. Going forward, with the new product launches, we'll surely try to get that technology for everyone.
Right. And, let's talk a little bit on your future product launches, because clearly that's where the Honda Sensing will be. You've talked about SUVs and, your focus on SUVs next year. What can you share with us on that?
So I would disappoint you a little bit. I'm not going to talk much on the SUV, but yes, we're going to get a new SUV which is being designed specifically for the Indian market, and we've been considering that decision for quite some time. What the Indian consumer wants. I'm sorry for being a little delayed, and that's what you're going to ask. But just wait for another year, and next year we're going to come with a very strong SUV, which is needed. The segment we will try to place it there where it's needed the most.
Okay, but two questions. Hybrid and Honda Sensing. Can we see these even in the SUV? Because that's really been your technology showcase right now, and I'm sure you don't want to limit it only to the city.
I can't comment on that. You'll have to wait it. So I don't want to be a spoil sport. So let that
Fair enough.
suspense and thing be there. So let that SUV be launched. I'm sure you will get it.
Right. So, the other thing also is one way of reducing the cost of the hybrid, obviously, is localization as much as possible because, to offset the taxes. So, just to understand, the HEV and, in alignment with the Make in India initiatives of the government, is there a plan to really heavily localize it? What is, what's the strategy, going forward in that respect?
So Honda Cars India, we're quite committed to Indian market, and that's what got this decision of not importing this car like we did for Civic or Accord. We're trying to manufacture the car here, and that too in the mainstream segment. So Make in India, we're quite committed to that. We have a huge capacity available in Tapukara, and we're going to manufacture City EHEV out here, and that's what the future road plan is. So the SU, which I said, is also going to be made in India here next year. And not just that, I'll touch upon the exports. So we are actually growing a lot on the export market. In last year, we closed more than 20,000 cars, which we're exporting from Honda Cars India. So we are manufacturing in India, we're exporting the cars there. So we have new markets like Turkey, we have Mexico. So going forward as well, we're going to make the export market strong as also along with the domestic market.
Right. So what you're saying is that the HEV really will be exported as well. That's what you're saying. Or is it overall for Honda?
I'm not saying about HEV, but I'm saying overall, currently we're exporting city to other countries. So we will continue doing that. So India being one of the important markets for us, not just domestically, we're also trying to make as one of the export centers. So we're trying to manufacture more in India. And that's what is a strong commitment to the Indian market, what Honda is trying to, put forward.
Right. And just looking at the city hybrid, clearly two pillars: environment and safety. From Honda's vision and perspective going forward, is this something we will expect from all Honda products in the future?
Yes, definitely. So, as I said, carbon neutrality is first, which is of prime importance to us. By 2050, we're trying to achieve that. We're going to challenge it. And also, second, is the safety, which is basically zero traffic collision fatality. So we put all our resources globally, on these two important directions. And by the year 2040, we'll have 100% of our sales would be battery electric vehicles or the fuel cell electric vehicles. That's what we're trying to aim. And not just that, by the year 2030, two-thirds of the global Honda sales would be electrified cars. So, all this is being done towards carbon neutrality. We're trying to reduce the carbon footprint and trying to achieve the blue skies for all of us, and backed by the safety, which definitely, is on our mind always.
So clearly, if these are your goals and targets globally, we would assume that India would also play a role in this, and we can see the BEVs, battery electric vehicles, coming to India, obviously in the near future. It's only logical that will be the trajectory as well, with the hybrids being a bridge towards that.
Yes, so City EHEV is the first step towards the electrification journey in India. So as I mentioned, globally, Mr. Nibe, global CEO, just announced we're going to spend, Honda's going to spend globally about $40 billion, and we're going to come up with 30 EVs in different segments in the world globally. So Honda Cars India is definitely an important, part of the total global brand. India is the fourth largest market in the entire world. So India has a very important significance. I can't share really which electric car or which models are going to come up in future. All I can say is that today we've come up with the City EHEV, which is a strong hybrid electric car in the mainstream segment. And next year, of course, coming with the SUV, which is mainly made basis the Indian conditions.
Right. And, I think we are running out of time, but before we go, it's been a very fascinating discussion. I think there are some questions which have come in. We've got one from, with Instagram, they kind of have their own handles. It's 22 underscore Naren SN. And his question is, I booked a City HEV the second day after the launch. Any estimated delivery time? So you've got one customer already, and obviously he's, tuned in and very happy to, so I think he let him hear it from the horse's mouth. When can he expect his delivery?
Yeah, well, so thank you so much for making the booking. I'm sorry for keeping you wait to drive your dream car. Well, we, as I said, we've got a lot of waiting customers, so I'm sure we're following the order of sequence of booking. And since he's made the booking on the second day itself, I'm sure he should be getting it soon. But yeah, as I said, it's currently going about more than 7 months of waiting. But people who have booked, the first, we're trying to give them utmost priority.
Right. So, Kunal, so obviously the booking response has taken you by surprise. I'm sure maybe, you didn't have a very big allocation, to be, let's be honest, but I think you were maybe do you think you were being a bit conservative in the response, and it's kind of really exceeded your expectations, because 7 months is a long time. And is that because you didn't expect that, or is it the usual chip shortage which has kind of dragged it further?
Yeah. So, actually, of course, the demand and the response has been quite fantastic, which has really amazed us. But at the same time, there's a lot of, issue of chip shortage, which is, prevailing on the Indian industry. And more than me, you know it better. So all the manufacturers are struggling with us, and Honda is also one of them. So it's a global shortage, and the situation is so dynamic. Even after the recent global crisis of wars, there is an impact on the chip as well as other issues. So we will try and best to manufacture as much HEVs we can, but we cannot go beyond the allocation of the chip which the Indian market has. So definitely the waiting is more, one, of course, because of the high demand, and plus largely by the chip shortage we have.
Right. And, we've got another question. Well, I think I will answer this. How does the paddles work in the city? HEV heard no actual gear change. Yeah, so I think the answer to this is basically the paddles. What they do is they change the regen brake levels. And frankly, it kind of mimics or mirrors the feeling of a gear change, because with stronger regen, it feels like you're decelerating. So I think that's how it is. So I think I've answered that. But I think there's a last question which I will take before. And, query is again talking about safety. And obviously, you've got a lot of ADAS features. But your response, what the reader wants to know, is, response to the 6 airbag rule. Obviously, a future package for it. What is your response to that?
So City HEV has 6 airbags, so we don't have to worry of that part. And as far as the coaching is concerned, for the other
No,
product
I
lineup,
think the question was for it'll happen for all your vehicles, so probably even
yeah.
Maze and other vehicles.
That's right. So we'll be quite committed to the Indian government decision. So whatever the norms are set by the law of the land, we follow that. So we still need to get more clarity on that front. But yes, we will comply to all the regulations which the government comes up with.
Yeah. So clearly future ready with all the regulations for all the brands, and I think really City Hybrid is for the future. Really a fascinating car. I've driven it. I must say, it's once you drive it, you realize what it's about. And I think for me, more than the ADAS, which I think is more very useful in multiple conditions, just the way the whole hybrid system works so seamlessly. I think it really is what I would say a showcase of what hybrid technology is in a relatively mass segment. So really wish you all the best, Kunal, and clearly Honda's
Thank you.
taken the first small step towards strong hybridization, and I'm sure the journey ahead will be exciting. Thank you so much for talking to us and fielding
Thank
our
you so
questions.
much. Thanks for the encouraging word. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, bye.